Park, Chicago South Side, showing you the Chips 16-inch co-ed softball tournament. And CHIPS is a local group out here, stands for, I think it stands for the Chicago Health Initiative Programs and what our community. And what they do is they try to get activities for the people out here a little different. They have softball, they try to expose them to other things like lacrosse and all kinds of stuff. So, very interesting group. We're going to be showing you this game, then we'll take an hour off and we'll come back and go back-to-back at 4 and 5 for a semifinal and the championship game. So we got Lawlers. Of course, you might recognize a lot of their players from the enemy team, and we have the Smoking Bats. So Smoking Bats were the higher seed coming out of pool play, so they're going to be the home team. And Lawlers is going to be starting off here. Johnny McIlvain, Mark Holstein, and Angela, the scheduled hitters. So this is a little different. A lot of the co-ed we show you is 14-inch mush ball. They're actually using the 16-inch clincher ball that we use in all the men's stuff that we show you during the season. So we're just getting underway here. We're on the third base side. They have a DJ who's blaring music, and it would have been a nightmare to try to stream from first base, so a little different view today. And this is a big park here. They got 4 diamonds, tennis court. They do have a pool. They got a very nice community center out here, 2210 West Pershing, a stone's throw from the Circuit Court of Cook County and the Cook County Jail, which is at 26th and Cal. So, and I don't know if they're having a problem with the lineup or what they're doing here, but a little bit of a delay. So they had pool play. These games are now the actual tournament portion of the tournament, so it's win or go home. And here's Johnny McIlvain leading off. Okay, so there's no re-entry here. We don't have the standard double re-entry. Kenny App letting me know. So Chris Harris is going to start on the mound, but Kenny App will hit for him. And there's a little blooper, and Johnny McIlvain wasn't running. Pitcher a little slow to go after it. Shortstop nowhere to be seen. Third baseman couldn't get there, and a little infield blooper to lead off the game for Johnny McIlvain. It brings up Mark Holstein. It's a weird play there, a little infield pop that nobody got to. Holstein, a rocket to third. Third baseman had it in the glove but couldn't squeeze it. Everybody's safe. So the third baseman looked like she was going to make that play and didn't. And that's going to bring up Angela. And she hits a line drive into right field, base hit. McIlvain will score the first one of the ball game, and Angela hustles into second. So 1-0 here. Lawler's early lead, second and third, nobody out for Al Rice. So they're selling food out here and other stuff, and a lot of the teams camped out in their little areas. It's a kind of a chilly day here. And there's a line drive by Al Rice. 2 runs are going to score as Angela wheels her way in. Oh, close at the plate. They did call her safe. That's a good relay there. They fooled me. Looked like it was going to be very easy. Center fielder got it in. They made it close, but it's 3-0. Stand-up double for Al Rice, and here's Travis Smith. So both of these teams have got major level players on it. Of course, Al with Hex. Mark Holstein played with Hex this past year. Of course, Travis Smith runs high Y. And they also have Jasper Golden. And Smoking Bat's got a couple as well. Most notably, Wes Shannon playing first base today. So a little different here, playing 16-inch instead of 14. And again, this is not a mush ball. And there's a hard ground ball, and that's going to sneak through. Al Rice is going to score. And Lawlers, who actually lost the game in pool play, has been very dominant their last two games since they got out of pool play. Brings up Ashley Lentine. Again, we're on the south side. The women play a little bit more of the 16-inch game on the south side than they do up north. And there's a little flare, a little basket catch by Nora out in right field, and that's the first out of the inning. Brings up Tommy Washington, who you might know from BTA, another major player. Again, they had no rules pertaining to that. So no double re-entry today. And just for some of you tuning in, this is a little bit of a hybrid version of Chicago 16-inch softball. We're still playing 60-foot bases, 38 from the rubber to the point of home plate, 6-12. And there's a little cut job, and the left fielder got a good read on it, comes charging in to make the play. 2 outs, and it brings up Chris Harris. And with a 4-0 lead, they're going to let Chris take the swing here. If he gets on, it'll be Michelle. So you can lead off. Can't steal. 6-12 on the arc. I believe they're playing 1-1 today. There's a sky-high pop-up. Third baseman can't get there. And she was kind of running down a slope here. So that'll be the second strike on Chris Harris. No fences, it's all you can get. A little breeze, it feels like it's blowing from right to left. And there's a little slow roller to short, and he's going to beat Travis Smith to second. So we're going to go to the bottom of the first inning, 4-0 Lawlers. So coming up for the Smoking Bats, it's going to be Cornelius Jackson or Corn, Scott Gates, and Nora McDonald. Anybody gets on, Wes Shannon. So Lawler's off to a good start here. And you can see there's a little bit of sunlight. So the left and center field are going to have to keep track of that. Again, we are in the fall, so even though it's not that late, 2 o'clock, you can see they're pretty dramatic. And now if you're the Bats, you need to respond here. So again, Lawler's pretty stacked up with their lineup. And Corn a little spinner, and that's foul. So it's 2:04. We're in the bottom of the first inning. This game was scheduled at 2, so far they're running right on time. We'll be back on at 4 for a semifinal, and then at 5 with the championship. And Corn a little overhand pop, and Jazz and Johnny can't get to it. It drops in for a leadoff hit. Comes Scott Gates. Was very impressed with him when we saw him in the co-ed mushball national championship tournament put on by the SSA, and it's a hot one hopper. Travis with the bobble called him out at second. Safe at first. Gates hit it on the screws. Travis with a little bit of a juggling play got his foot back to the bag in time for the fielder's choice, and here's Nora McDonald. And she swings a little one hopper, and safe at first. Runner's going to try to go to third, and he'll make it. And now Nora's going to sneak in, and now Gates is going to score. So Lawler's throwing the ball around. Smoking Bats very aggressive there. Gates pushed the issue by going to third. And as soon as the throw from first came across the diamond, Nora took off and went over to second. Here's Wes Shannon. So Lawler's there. And Wes hammers it down the line. Fair ball. Another run scores. The right fielder, Al Rice, had to jump over a lawn chair. He's out of the play. Ball stayed in play. 2-run homer for Wes Shannon, and it's a 4-3 ball game. So Al Rice got over there. He couldn't cut the ball off. Not a lot of foul territory. They're playing the fence down. Al hurdled a spectator in a lawn chair, and the ball just stopped, but he was out of the play. Never happened to Maya. So here's the center fielder. He pounds it off of Harris. Out at first. So Francisco, they call him Frankie, just out at first. So a couple of hard hit balls up the middle brings up the third baseman, Tori Hawes. 2 out, nobody on, and there's a little bloop in front of McIlvain. She swings and just punched it over the top of the infield. Here comes Will Deere. Of course, Marla managing this Smoking Bats team, and Will her significant other. So a little bit of a family connection there. Will being very patient with Mello on deck, and now he swings and he flares it. So good response here by the Smoking Bats after falling behind 4-0. They put a 3 spot up. And Will hits a little roller to short. Tommy Washington, also a big time major shortstop. makes the play. So Will Deer grounds out, but the Smoking Bats come storming back into the game with a 3-spot. And we head to the top of the second. So if you're tuning in, taking time out from your college football watching, we should be back on the air after this game around 4 o'clock. Then we'll go back to back at 5 for the championship. We're hoping to get Javier, who runs this chip program, sometime around the championship game for an interview. Talk about what they're doing out here. And for a Park District infield, this is not too bad. It is a little dusty. So leading off, it's going to be Michelle. Be followed by Jazz and then Aaron. And this is a very pretty park. Parking a little tight, but nice little park. And she flares it to Francisco in center, and he makes the play for out number 1. So a little better start so far here in the second. And it brings up Jazz. Of course, Jazz on high Y with his brother Cha-Cha. Cha-Cha had a spectacular summer season. I believe he ended up in the top 10 in the batting stats. And we're going to be releasing the Chicago Summer Series statistics shortly. And we're working on those all-tournament teams. And so got a lot of stuff. We'll be out in Vegas next Saturday live from Desert Breeze. And there's a spinner, and throw is up the line. Wes Shannon had to get off the bag there. So Jazz hits a little spinner. He runs like a deer. So once that ball hit the carpet, you were going to have a hard time throwing him out. Brings up the catcher, Aaron, with Johnny McIlvain in the top, waiting. Aaron takes a strike. So it's kind of nice to see a little co-ed with the big ball. And that play is handled easily by Tori at third. She's had a busy start to this ball game. And here's the leadoff man, Johnny McIlvain, hit a little infield bloop. Not used to seeing those types of hits, but it landed in between pitcher, third baseman, and shortstop for an infield hit last time up. And there he hits a little roller, and Korn, shortstop, was trying to cut in front, and I think that may have crossed his line of sight there. Brings up Mark Holstein, so all of a sudden now 2 outs, 2 on. Lawler's looking for a little bit more. And Holstein hits a hard ground ball past Shannon. 1 run is in. McIlvain's going to score. So a 2-out, 2-run single for Mark Holstein. They get 2 of those runs back, 6-3 now. Brings up Angela. And there's a line drive. And throw to second, not in time. Angela hits a bullet into right field for a base hit. And it brings up Al Rice. So if you're the Smoking Bats and you're playing Lawlers here, you need to hit with them. They're going to get a courtesy runner now, Chris Harris. So Smoking Bats trying to put a Band-Aid on this, trying to get out here. Travis Smith on deck. And he launches one into the alley. No one will get that. One run is in. Angela's going to score. Al Rice taking the turn. They're going to send him, and he'll score. 3-run homer for Al Rice as he airmails it into the gap in right center. And now it's 9-3, Lawlers. So the bats came out, looked like they were going to be okay this inning, and all of a sudden, 5 runs on the board. And Travis creases one to the other gap in left center field. And Travis is going to try to go to third, and he'll make it. Now the throw gets away. Brings up Ashley. So big explosion here by Lawlers. And looking at this team, you wonder how they lost in pool play. And a lot of times, when you play an early game at, say, 9 o'clock, you're not necessarily ready to play. And Ashley Lentine drives it up the middle, and she'll get a 2-out RBI to make it 10-3. So Lawler's all business, maybe trying to send a little notice to the rest of the teams. And we have seen, this is predominantly a rebranded enemy team due to sponsorship by Shane Lawler and Lawler's Bar. Shane, of course, a supporter of the SSA. 2 locations, one on Archer and one on 111th Street. The one on 111th, he's moving into the old, I believe that was Sweetwater, a little closer to Pulaski. So if you live out in that Mount Greenwood area, keep your eye open for it. So here's Tommy Washington now, 2 outs. Big 6-run inning here for Lawlers. Tommy hits a flare, and that is a fair ball, and that ball went out of play. And that ball rolled out of play. So Tommy will have to go back to second. Ashley will have to come back to third as it kicked out of play. The difference between that ball and the ball that Wes Shannon hit is Wes's ball never really kicked to the right and out of play. That ball bounced. It was a little bit of an inside-out swing, and it rolled almost to the steps over there by the field house. So here's a pinch hitter for Chris Harris. It's going to be Jake McTeague. Jake, a young kid, very promising future, very solid offensive player for a young man. Ten to 3 and counting here. Smoking Bats trying to get an out, and Jake goes opposite. Nora McDonald makes the catch. So a little run there by Nora. She got there. We'll head to the bottom of the second. Lawler's 10 to 3 over the Bats. So leading off, it's going to be the pitcher Mello. Will be followed by Anna and then Pokey. And again, if you're the Bats, you're down 7. You got a little bit of time, but you need to chip away here. and hope that you can somehow get a goose egg as Lawler spun the lineup and hit 11 guys slash women in the top of the second. So the pool play here was a little odd because I believe they only played one game in the pool play. So depending on who you drew, the seating could be a little deceptive. And I think they did that they wanted to guarantee everybody 2 games, but they didn't want to go double a limb or consolation. The one diamond here is a hardball diamond that has grass and a mound, so you really can't use it for 60. Well, they both are with grass and a pitcher's mound, so you really can't use it for softball. So they only have the 2 dirt fields playing directly across from each other. This is field 2. The other one they're using is field 4. And there's a swing by Mello, and he throws it in front of Angela. Oh, she thought about throwing to first. Elected not to, so leadoff base hit for Mello. Brings up Anna. She might be related to Francisco. It looks like they have the same last name on the lineup card. So now Mike Lewis is having a conversation with Marla. And that's part of the thing. A lot of times, depending on the tournament that you play, so they're going to get a courtesy last out. I think that's what she was trying to check to see. A lot of times you go to different tournaments and they have different tournament rules. So here's Anna, slow roller, only play at first, but Al Rice tried to one-hand it, couldn't make the play, first 2 hitters on, and brings up Pokey. Playing shortstop today with Maribel on deck. I think Al had a little bit more time than he thought there. He kind of rushed and tried to one-hand it. I think he would have had time to go down, and there's a sinking liner in front of McIlvain, and everybody's safe. Johnny would have had time, but when the ball bounced, it kind of bounced up on him, and a lot of these park districts this time of the year, their grass is a little beat up. Brings up Maribel. So the grass gets chewed up this time of the year. So you'll get some weird hops, and she floats one. McIlvain, they'll get the double play. Johnny McIlvain, the center fielder, was basically, the right fielder was very short. First baseman got fooled, and they get the double play, so second and third. Now it's up to Korn to try to salvage the inning. Kenny App has entered, and there's a ground ball off of Kenny, but he recovers. So they had the bases loaded, nobody out, and they don't score as we head to the third. Korn grounded out to the pitcher. Kenny App came in. Jake McTeague hit for Chris Harris, and then they put in Kenny App to pitch. So they've used 3 players in that slot now. They were telling us no re-entry, so Jake McTeague and Chris Harris are burned. And leading off here, it's going to be Michelle, Jazz, and Aaron. Biggest problem for the Smoking Bats through two is that they haven't been able to get a goose egg. Now as we head into the third, if you're the Bats, you got to be a little worried, because if they're playing mercy rule out here, you're starting to run out of outs. And Michelle, a little one hopper, and it gets through the infield. She leads off with a hit. And it's going to bring up Jazz. So Lawlers has been putting people on every inning and threatening. And the trend continues here. And Jazz hits a towering fly ball. The right fielder makes the catch, and he calls him out. So they're giving a lot of foul territory. And you can see it's pretty much wide open. So normally they'll play the fence line down, but apparently because of how wide open it is. Oh, no, they didn't. Jazz is still up there. And he tomahawks a short hop to Korn. Safe at first. And Korn never went to the bag. I think Korn thought he caught that. Umpire thought it short hopped him. And that's why he didn't go to the base. He never touched the bag. That was a no-brainer. Question was, did he catch the ball? I think I might have got that on tape so you can rewind it. But looks like it's going to be first and second here for Aaron. My guess is Aaron will try to pull a ground ball and they'll try to get Jazz in motion. And that's all she did there. Wes is going to fire it though to third. And they get the fielder's choice. Wes was really cheating her. Aaron telegraphed that swing. Ball took a nice hop right up to Wes. He looked and made sure that Torrey was at third. And he threw a chest-high strike to her. So here's Johnny McIlvaine now, still first and second. And McIlvaine rakes it down the right field line. Fair. Jazz is going to score. Ashley will get into third. And now she runs through the stop sign. And she's going to steal a run. So the Smoking Bats here kind of losing their focus. Still only one out here for Holstein. Another run at second base. Al Rice on deck. Excuse me, Angela on deck, and she's already got a couple of hits. And he goes opposite field, but that's going to fade foul. So Mark has gone at the third baseman one time, pulled a ball. That time he tried to flip the right field line. One out, one on, two in. And Holstein just guided that into center. McIlvaine will score. 3-run inning. So they've gone 4. Four in the first, 7 in the second, or excuse me, 6 in the second, and now 3 here in the third. So they've been kind of relentless. Brings up Angela. So if Lawlers keep swinging the sticks like this, they're going to be a load the rest of the day. Kenny Apple, courtesy run. And Angela lays out another rope, and Kenny Apple beat the throw to second. She's got a beautiful swing there, loaded the hands, dropped the head, and came firing through. And Angela, I believe, I want to say she played college ball. I want to say it was Northwestern. So here's Al Rice, and he fires one through. Kenny Apt is going to score. That ball gets past the center fielder. Angela's going to score. Al Rice is going to get himself another home run, his second 3-run homer of the ball game. And it's now 16-3 Lawlers. So that's a good example, kids. You don't have to beat somebody over the top. That was just a crisp line drive into the alley. Now they're gonna pull the center fielder in. Korn's gonna go to the outfield. Travis Smith coming in. So the catcher, Maribel, kind of taking control on the field here and reconfiguring her defense. Yeah, that's what I thought, Josh. And you can tell that whoever taught her growing up and in college knew what they were doing. So the Smoking Bats got into the hole early. They did shave it to a 1-run lead after one, but these last 2 innings have been a nightmare, and it's going to continue here as Travis Smith, a hard ground ball between third and short. That brings up Ashley Lentine. And there's a little pop-up that'll be out of play. Right over the top of a fan over there. Relaxing in his chair. He didn't even flinch. Sitting right by that lamppost. So the Smoking Bats, talking with Marla, they had played this team, I think last week, and they lost by a run in 9 innings, but today it's been all Lawlers. So Ashley Lentine fouls out for out number 2, and it brings up Tommy Washington. My guy Josh, all things college athletics. And Tommy hits a spinner, and that's going to roll foul. 16-3. It's not a huge surprise that Lawlers is winning the game, but the score is a little shocking. And a big food truck just pulled up. Willie's. Got a big slab of ribs on the side, making me a little hungry. And there's a little flare to right, and it's foul. So the last two hitters, Ashley and Tommy, basically strike out. And we head to the bottom of the third. It's all Lawlers. So we'll be out in Las Vegas next Saturday at Desert Breeze. We'll be covering that tournament a little bit for you guys. And the week after that, we'll be getting back to covering some men's softball. And we got a big upcoming show very shortly where we'll be talking about a lot of interesting things, SSA, Chicago Summer Series, and the like. So make sure you like the page. So here's Scott Gates leading off, then Nora McDonald and Wes Shannon, 2-3-4. And Gates swings high, towering fly ball. Angela's got a beat on it, puts it away for out number one. So the bats look like they're a little shell-shocked, as Lawlers has erupted for 16 runs. And Nora, little chopper to Al Rice, big hop, throws across in time. For out number two, and here's Wes Shannon. 2-run homers last time up. And Wes slashes one. Ashley off her mitt. Nobody at first. And Wes will just take the slow walk. She cut a hard line drive. Ashley reached for it but couldn't hold on. And it brings up the center fielder, Francisco. And he swings, and Angela right there to make the catch. So they get a 2-out single, can't do nothing with it. And we're going to head to the top of the fourth, 16-3. Again, we are live from McKinley Park, Chicago South Side. Beautiful facility here. And I tell you, that wind's been kind of pushing in right to left, sometimes swirling straight in, but it hasn't stopped any of these big hitters on Lawlers from driving some gaps. So Kenny Appleby up, followed by Michelle and then Jazz. And Wes Shannon's going to come in and pitch, as Mello had kind of a rough ride the first 3 innings of this ball game. So we are in the top of the 4th inning here. Kenny sweeps the ground ball. Korn back on the infield, throws it away. Kenny will go to second. She had plenty of time, so the third baseman, Torrey's out in center. Korn's come back into the infield. We got a new third baseman, don't know what his name is. And now we have a pinch hitter for Michelle, ground ball. Kenny App made it over there to second. Not sure who the pinch hitter was. I would assume that was Cassie. And it brings Jazz up, runner on second. And Jazz, an overhand just over the shortstop. Kenny will get to third. Now a slow throw in, and Jazz takes second. And it brings up the catcher, Aaron. So the Smoking Bats, their defensive recognition's been step slow this entire ball game. And here in the fourth, it's continued. So Aaron just sweeps it to first. It gets past the first baseman. Another run scores. She tried to backhand it. Ball was kind of bouncing around a little bit, hopped over her glove. They score another run. Aaron's safe. Cassie will come out in courtesy run, and they're back to the top of the lineup.
Hey, one, let's get out of it.
So Lawler's certainly not calling the dogs off here. Just goes to show you, co-ed or regular, nobody has any sympathy for you. And there's a strike. And there's a little ground ball, and that's going to be knocked down, and they get the fielder's choice. Not by design. I think the shortstop was just trying to make a play. Ball was rolling around and rolled right to Korn. They get the fielder's choice. Another run does score, 18-3. And Holstein rockets one down the line. Fair ball. Oh, I think the outfielder out there, they're taking batting practice, flipped the ball to the right fielder. Might have been worse. So a little help from somebody taking batting practice there. And they're all kind of laughing a little bit at it. Tommy Washington get a courtesy run, and here's Angela, 3 hits in the ball game already. Chance to drive in a couple more. And there's a little roller. Wes Shannon gets a hand on it, throws to first, and that'll do it. We head to the bottom of the fourth, 18-3. So Angela, nice play there by Wes Shannon to get a hand on that. And we head to the bottom of the fourth. It's all Lawlers. So it's going to be Torrey, Will Deer, and we will have a pinch hitter for Mello as they took him out of the ball game last time up. And there's a little ground ball. Travis Smith, long throw across in time for out number 1. Actually, I think, yeah. So, okay, they took Will Deer out. So Mello is still in the game. He's just DHing now. And this is the young man that came in and played third base last inning.
Hit the bat! Hit the bat! Hit the bat! Right! Oh, yeah!
And they do have lights here. And there's a swing and a long one. He beats Jazz down the left field line. He's going to chug. He's going to try to go to third. Here's the play. No throw. It's Tommy Washington dropped the ball. So 1 out triple as he creases one right down the left field line. And it brings up Mello. They do have lights here, but not a lot of them. I'd be curious to see what kind of coverage they get. If it gets to that tonight. And there's a little flare. Ashley Lentine sliding catch. She's out of play, though. The run would have scored anyway because she was out of play. But a great play by Ashley Lentine sliding right by the out of play. She comes up kind of grabbing her left hip a little bit. As she waved the big glove and got the out 18-4. And it brings up Anna. And she hits a ground ball to Al. Pitch and catch to first. For out number 3, we'll head to the 5th. Lawler's in command. So it looks like Al Rice going to be leading off with Trav and then Ashley. Anybody gets on, it'll be Tommy. As Lawler's has burned through their substitutes. And in a game where it's 18-4, you certainly want to get all of your players in. They are using a mat here, as you saw the catcher there, Maribel, shaking some dirt off of it. And Al hits another long ball, but cruising over and making the catch is Torrey. First time Al Rice has been retired. I think somebody may have made a comment to Al, like, why are you trying to hit home runs? And Al's like, I'm not trying to rub it in. I just hit a lazy fly ball. So here's Trav. You know, two schools of thought on that. Some people, when the game is out of hand, don't want to rub it in. And Travis, and they call it out there, Scott Gates came in and made a catch right above the carpet, hit his hands, popped up to him, but he secured it before it hit the carpet. And it brings up Ashley. So two schools of thought. Some people say call the dogs off. And other people say, you know, just keep at it. Line drive, Korn can't make the catch. Ashley not running. She's still kind of grabbing her side after that diving catch. And if they are playing mercy rule. This is a do or die bottom of the fifth. They need 5 to continue the game. Or it'll be over. And it was, some teams get offended when they think you're rubbing it in. Then other teams get offended when you call the dogs off. So I'm not sure what the right answer is there. My take on it was if we were playing a young team, I didn't want to embarrass them. But if you're playing a major team and you get up double digits like this, and they have the capability of scoring, my thought process in that situation was always, when they tell you they're not going to try to get hits, then I'll call the dogs off. And there's a hard ground ball. Tommy Washington, smooth as silk, but then he lobbed it into the dirt, and the ball gets away. He had all kinds of time. And Ashley Lentine is looking at Tommy Washington like, throw the ball. So leadoff man on. And there's a swing, and he pushes it. Now Rice is not going to throw to first. A lot of right fielders would. And now they're at the top of their lineup with Korn. So I don't know if Al didn't throw that because he didn't want to embarrass a female player or because of the grief he got. And Holstein will take the out at first. Another run scores. It's now 18-5. And brings up Scott Gates. Should be one out here, I believe. (18-5), runner on second. Here's Gates, and he creases a base hit. I was curious when I saw him in the mush ball as to whether or not his game would translate to the 16-inch, but he's hit the ball hard. Made a nice catch last inning. Good-looking player. And now we got a pinch hitter for Nora McDonald. 18-5 here. Bottom of the fifth. Washington, Travis wasn't looking. Trav was looking for the bag. I want to say another run scored there. Brings up Wes Shannon. 3-run bomb here. Gets him under that 10 mark. And Wes goes big and deep, way foul. And he calls it fair. And that's going to be a 3-run homer. Al thought it was going to be way foul. Wes just unloaded. If I'm not mistaken, it's 18-9. So Smoking Bat's not going quietly here. In the bottom of the fifth, it brings up Francisco. So, a little change of events here. Smoking Bats were dead on their feet. Couple of sloppy plays here. And they've put up 5. And I'd venture to guess if they came back to win, this would be the biggest comeback in Smoking Bats history. Of course, the 3 o'clock team's starting to gravitate toward the field. And there's a long fly ball. Jazz puts it away. That'll be out number 2. Again, I believe it's 18-9. I could be off by a run. We'll find out at the end of this half inning. So here's Tori. She floats one, and Travis can't make the catch. Looked like Angela was in a position to make an easy catch. And she's giving Trav the eye, like, stay out of my way. She's joking. She gave him a little swat on the shoulder. So the Bats have fought back here a little bit. And there's a swing and a fly ball. Jazz is there, and he puts it away. So I don't know if they cut it to 9 or not. I think they have. It looks like the Bats are coming out. So we will play the 6th. As the Bats put up 5. The big blow, a mammoth 3-run homer by Wes Shannon down the right field line.
Mike, come on! Come on! Come on!
It's going to be Tommy Washington, Kenny App, and Cassie coming up this inning. Let's see if Lawlers goes back to work. Tries to get over to that 10-run mark to try to end this in 6.
Long time, let's go!
A lot of chatter going around here. The game is really slowing down here a little bit. Not sure what this delay is about. I mean, nobody's yelling or screaming, so I'm not sure what this is about. I think it may be a question about what the score is, as the Smoking Bats are coming off the field. This is the weirdest conversation, and both teams, I don't know, it looks like they're lining up to maybe shake hands. I'm not sure. And that apparently it was 18-8. I told you I may have missed a run there. So it is a mercy rule. Longest mercy rule call ever. But that's going to wrap this one up. It was all Lawlers from start to finish. Smoking bats. Got their offense going in the bottom of the fifth. Not enough to extend the game. So we're going to take a game off. We'll be back to back starting at 4 o'clock with the semi and the championship game. Judging on what I just saw, I would think Lawler has got a good shot at being in that championship game. Bats are out. And of course, the other bracket's got a couple of good ball clubs in there as well. So on behalf of the SSA, this is Gio live from McKinley Park saying tune in to